Hi everyone! So, this is another special edition of the book club, and this week we are talking, or more specifically, reading books about Ramadan. It is celebrated and observed by Muslims worldwide, and it is considered a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. It started this past Thursday on April 23rd, and given that it's such an important time, I thought we should read some books about it and learn about new cultures, different kinds of people, and hear what else is going on in the world and not just what's happening in our own homes. So first, let's learn more about what happens during Ramadan with a fun story. All right, so let's check it out, and then we'll discuss a little bit afterwards. See you soon. Crayola, Ramadan and Eid Al-Fitr Colors by Mary Shue. What is Ramadan? Ramadan has begun. It is a Muslim holy month of prayer and fasting, and many different colors fill the days and nights of Ramadan. Let's celebrate together. The blue sky gets darker, and the bright moon shines in the night sky. Ramadan begins and ends with a crescent moon. A crescent moon has a curved shape, kind of looks like a banana or a boat. Do you see it in the sky? What happens during Ramadan? During Ramadan, people do not eat while the sun is in the sky. When the sun goes down, meals begin with brown dates and other treats. During Ramadan, people don't eat or drink between sunrise and sunset. Purple, red, blue, and green colors light up the night. Bright lights hang in the streets and homes during Ramadan. People use these lanterns and lamps. Colorful designs cover prayer rugs. People focus on their family, friends, and faith during Ramadan all over the world. Celebrating Eid al-Fitr. When Ramadan ends, a festival called Eid al-Fitr begins, and it's time to celebrate. Children play and have fun. Families and friends enjoy one another. People give gifts and toys. These children are celebrating with colorful balloons. What colors do you see? People buy food to make special meals during Eid. They shop for red and green vegetables, many orange and brown fruits too. People celebrate Ramadan and Eid in different countries all around the world. People eat sweet treats and desserts. They celebrate the end of the long days of fasting. Yellow and red goodies are a sweet way to celebrate. What are some of your favorite sweet treats and desserts that you eat when you're celebrating something? People wear their best clothes for Eid al-Fitr. Some people buy colorful new clothes. These women and children are wearing orange, white, and turquoise. Eid al-Fitr is a time for joy. People give gifts and money to family members and to those in need. This gold ribbon makes this gift extra special. A colorful celebration. Color is all around during Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr. These colorful days are a time to be thankful. The end. For more Crayola books in the Holiday Colors series, check it out on getepic.com. I really enjoyed learning all about the beautiful colors and decorations and foods that we see during Ramadan, but that was only a small portion of what happens during this holiday. So for our next story, we're going to get the help of a little boy named Rashad and his family and how they celebrate Ramadan and the ending of Ramadan, which is Eid al-Fitr, and that ends the fasting and the 30 days of the holiday. So let's take another look, and I'll see you soon. Rashad's Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr by Lisa Bullard. Chapter 1. Where's the moon? I look and look at the night sky, then finally, I see it first. It's the Ramadan moon. Dad, says Rashad, your smile curves across your face just like the moon. Ramadan is the 9th month in the calendar, used for Muslim holidays. Ramadan is the most important month for Muslims. When it is near, they watch the night sky and they look for a new crescent moon. The moon means Ramadan starts tomorrow. My family celebrates Ramadan because we're Muslim. We believe in God, whom we call Allah. Dad says Ramadan is a time to get closer to him. Chapter 2. Thinking about Allah. We get up really early for breakfast. During Ramadan, Mom and Dad fast after the sun comes up. That means they don't eat or drink anything. Today, I'll be fasting too. It sure is a long time until the sun sets. Then we can eat again. Grown-ups fast between sunrise and sunset, but people who are sick, they don't have to fast. Kids don't have to fast, but some practice. Some children go without eating for part of each day, and some kids, they only fast for certain days of the month. On some nights, we go to the mosque. That's where we pray and hear people read from the special book. I look for the moon on those nights too. When it is fat and full, we are halfway through Ramadan. Chapter 3. Thinking about other people. We try hard to be good this month. My sister and I don't even fight. We also give money and food to people who don't have enough. Caring for the poor is really important to Muslims. That is one of the reasons they fast. Fasting helps them understand how people feel when they're hungry. I've been watching the moon every night, and tonight I look extra hard. There, it's the new crescent moon again, and Ramadan is over. Tomorrow, we'll celebrate Eid al-Fitr. Muslim families do many things to get ready for Eid. They clean and decorate their homes, they make special treats, and they get ready for a big feast. Chapter 4. A big celebration. Early in the morning, I put on new clothes and shoes. We go to a big park with many other people, and we all pray together. Dad says Muslims around the world have fun and feast for Eid. Sometimes there are carnival rides and games. We visit friends and family. People give me candy, presents, and money. Many Muslims take the day off for school or work during Eid. In some places, the celebration lasts for 3 whole days. I've decided I'm going to watch the moon all year. I know it will grow bigger and smaller many times. But finally, it will be that special night again. It will be time for another Ramadan moon. The end. For more clever leaf books that talk about different holidays from different cultures, You can check them out on getepic.com. Rashad helped us learn a lot more about Ramadan. We talked about how the crescent moon is an indicator that Ramadan is starting, as Ramadan starts on every 9th month. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So every 9th month in their lunar calendar is when Ramadan starts. He also talked to us about fasting, which is when the people celebrating, they don't eat and sometimes they don't drink anything for a period of time. They also go to the mosque, and that's where they pray and worship during their holiday. You might go to something similar yourselves, like temple or church. You can even pray in your own home. So now that we've talked about a few more of these things, I want us to learn more about fasting, because not every little kid fasts during Ramadan. But in this next story, this little girl is fasting for the first time, and she is so excited. So let's hear more about her story and her trying to tell her friends how important Ramadan is to her. Okay, I'll see you soon. Leila's Lunchbox, a Ramadan story by Reem Faruqi. "We won't be needing this for a while," said Leila's mother, hanging up Leila's lunchbox. "Imagine, I won't be eating lunch for a month," replied Leila with a twirl. "I won't have to pack lunch for a month," said her mom with a bigger twirl. The year before, Leila had wanted to fast with her best friends, Hind and Ishrat, during Ramadan. But Leila's mom had insisted she was too small. Remembering that, Leila stopped twirling. She missed her friends. Moving from one continent to another had been hard. On the map in her book, North America and the Middle East were 10 inches apart. But in real life, she was so much farther away. She wished she was only 10 inches away from Hind and Ishrat. She knew the sign by the highway said, "Peachtree City, you'll love to call it home." But she didn't agree with the sign. Abu Dhabi still felt like her home. The next morning before sunrise, Leila's mom gently nudged her. "Leila," she whispered, "Sehri time." Leila chomped on her chocolate chip pancakes with her eyes closed. "Delicious," she said. "Come, let's pray now," said her mother. After Sehri, Leila snuggled back into her bed until Mom woke her up again for school, and she left the house with a note in hand to give to her teacher, Mrs. Penworth. Without her lunchbox to carry, her fingers fell light and free, and she skipped all the way to the school bus stop. On the school bus, she read her mom's note. "Dear Miss Penworth, this will be Leila's first time fasting for the month of Ramadan, so it is an exciting time for us. Please excuse Leila from lunch for this special month. Thanks, Mrs. Malik." No one would be fasting with her. She folded the note in a tiny square and hid it in her book bag. Leila walked slowly to her class, and when lunchtime arrived, she hadn't given Mrs. Penworth her note. "Leila, did you forget your lunch?" asked her teacher. Leila went to open her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Her friend volunteered, "I'll share my lunch with Leila." Mrs. Penworth shook her head. "Thank you for the offer, Samantha, but Leila, please get a sandwich from the cafeteria." Leila followed her classmates. Leila thought of telling Anna, her friend, that she was fasting, but she didn't think anyone at her school would understand what Ramadan was. Leila watched her friends eat. She didn't feel so sure. She looked away and smelled the food. She wished she had given Mrs. Penworth the note. Her tummy rumbled. Suddenly she had an idea. While everyone was busy eating, she snuck out of the cafeteria. "Why, Layla, it's a pleasure to see you. What brings you to the library?" asked Mrs. Carmen. Layla felt safe amongst the books. "You know what I always do when I get my thoughts out or when I'm getting shy about talking?" asked Miss Carmen. "I write my thoughts down." So Layla got to work. She wrote neatly in her notebook. She worked so hard her cheeks turned pink. She wrote all about Ramadan and explained how she would be fasting to Mrs. Penworth in a letter. Layla hurried back to the cafeteria to join her class. Before school was out, she quietly dropped both notes onto Mrs. Penworth's desk, the one from her and the one from her mother. The next morning, Layla swung her fingers as she walked to the school bus. Would Mrs. Penworth like her letter? Layla hoped she wouldn't think she had forgotten her lunch again. At lunchtime, Layla's feet felt heavy. She was sure Miss Penworth hadn't seen the notes. But then she found a note from Mrs. Penworth. "Dear Layla, I enjoyed your lovely note about Ramadan. I'm impressed you're fasting. What a special time for you, and your family must be thrilled. Can I share your letter with the class today at lunch? You could go to the library this month instead of the cafeteria. Miss Carmen is excited to see you. Sincerely, Mrs. Penworth." Layla twirled all the way to the library. She was excited to share her letter with her classmates. The end. Layla was so scared to tell her friends and her teacher that she was fasting because she was so afraid to be different. And she thought that they wouldn't understand and that would make it hard to explain what she was doing and the importance of what she was doing. But in the end, she was so excited and learned that being different is okay and actually an amazing thing, because there are so many things that make us all different as people, and that's wonderful, because if we were all the same, that would be so boring. But while we are different, and being different is wonderful, it's these differences that make us people and come together as a community. So in this last story, let's hear about two little boys that come from different ends of the street and different cultures, but they realize that they're really similar because they're both kids. And sometimes cultures meet and compare and contrast in different ways. So let's see what happens to them. A Moon for Moe and Mo by Jane Breskin Zalben. Moses Feldman lived at one end of Flatbush Avenue, and Mohammed Hassan lived at the other. One fall day, each boy went with his mother to a store right in the middle of the avenue. Bells tinkled when they went inside. The air smelled of spices and fresh teas. Baskets were filled with apricots, figs, dates, nuts, pomegranates bursting with seeds. They glistened like little red jewels. Each boy ran down the market's aisles. When Moses grabbed powdered candies, Mrs. Feldman cried out, "Moe, don't touch!" As sweet nougats tumbled off the shelf, Mrs. Hassan warned, "Mo, be careful!" Moe and Mo turned around and stared at each other. Sugar dusted their nose and cheeks and fingers. "Are you twins?" asked Mr. Sahadi, the store owner, "or cousins?" Each boy shook his head no. Moe peered at Mo's curly dark hair and brown eyes just like his. Mo noticed Moe's olive skin and shy smile, just like his. Mr. Sahadi handed each boy a piece of thick taffy. "Thank you," they said together, both grinning widely. "Do you live around here?" asked Mo. Moe pointed down the street one way. "I live here too," said Mo, pointing the other way. Moe bounced his favorite ball. The pink rubber one had lots of bounce towards Mo. Mo bounced it back and forth they went, until it rolled behind Mr. Sahadi's counter. "I think this kind of ball is better in a food store," said Mr. Sahadi. He gave them each a large falafel ball, still warm, stuffed inside fluffy pita bread. I'm so full I feel like I swallowed a big bowling ball," Moe said after he took his last bite. "Oh, me too," said Mo, patting his stomach. While Mrs. Feldman waiting for her basket, Mrs. Hassan waited with hers. When it was time to go, the boys waved, "See you soon," they called out, but they didn't. Weeks had passed. Mrs. Feldman was getting ready for Rosh Hashanah, the holiday celebrating the new year. She made a brisket and rugula. Moe got pastry dough everywhere. "Enough, Moe," sighed Mrs. Feldman. Mrs. Hassan was preparing for Ramadan, the holiest month of the year. As she roasted lamb and mixed date cookies, Mo spilled the chopped dates on the floor. "Oh, enough, Mo," sighed Mrs. Hassan. Finally, their mothers decided to take a break and brought each boy to the park. The boys were surprised to see each other. "Race you to the playground," yelled Moe. "On your mark, get set, go!" yelled Mo. They climbed, swung, and played hide and seek. Meanwhile, both mothers glanced around the crowded playground. Where were Moe and Mo? Mrs. Feldman ran in circles. "Moe! Moe!" Mrs. Hassan also frantic. "Mo! Mo!" Fearful moments felt like endless hours. They decided to search together, and that's when they found them. Happy and muddy, the boys looked up from digging. Each mother held her son. "Oh, thank goodness, you are the sun, moon, and stars," Mrs. Hassan said to Mo. "And everything in between," Mrs. Feldman said to Moe, and the mothers hugged each other. As they walked home, Moe and Mo asked, "Can we have a picnic in the park later?" Both mothers nodded. At sundown, they feasted under a leafy tree, and Mo brought date cookies crumbled with almonds. Moe brought rugula rolled with raisins. "Shalom," said Moe's family, wishing peace. "Salam," said Mo's family, wishing peace. That night, the first sliver of the moon shone down on Moe. He looked out his bedroom window and whispered to the starry sky, "A blessed Ramadan, Mo." Mo also looked out his bedroom window and whispered to the moonlit sky, "Happy New Year, Moe." And the same moon shone over both boys as they slept, Moe on one end of Flashput Avenue, and Mo on the other. The end. I'm always excited when the students in my classroom come from so many different places and backgrounds and cultures and speak different languages, because it gives our class the chance to learn about different kinds of people from all over the world. And that's really exciting to me. But since we aren't in a classroom with students, the world, I guess you can say, is our classroom. So the fact that Ramadan is happening as I'm making this video gives us the opportunity to learn about a culture, an occurrence that might not be our own. So I hope you all enjoyed these stories and learned a little bit more about Ramadan, and learned that maybe it's a little similar to things you experience with your own families and your own friends. So I'll see you guys next time on another special edition, whether it's another holiday or some kind of celebration. So bye everyone.